Yoruba people cannot achieve Oduduwa nation in the next 10 years, Seun Kuti. Afrobeat musician Seun Kuti has said the Southwest is not yet capable of having self-government. So he says, the activist and leader of the movement of the people called on agitators of Oduduwa Republic to re-strategize and have self-sufficiency plans for the Republic. This, he said, might take another 50 years. According to him, the division of Nigeria can be achieved without going to war or killing one another. He noted that instead of choosing destruction to achieve Yoruba nation or Biafra, the people should negotiate to achieve a common goal. He said this during a live video on Instagram while addressing a question he had been asked on when ESN and Ebubeagu, both Suriya outfits in the southeast, would start a war amongst themselves. Buttressing his points, the musician cited the instance of England, which left the European Union without fighting. England just left the EU recently. Did they fight anyone before leaving? The Scottish are agitating to leave England. Why are they not saying that they want to fight war before they can leave England? Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying these people don't fight, but understand the narrative. Must it be a fight if you don't want to be part of Nigeria anymore? Where are our elites? Why are they not agitating for a referendum? Referendums now put the decisions in the hands of the people. They want constitutional conference. They should pick among themselves to help us divide. If Nigeria truly wants to divide, we must put it in a referendum program, yes or no vote to all the people in this country, so that we can make our arguments for and against the people would be carried along every step of the way, because we will need them to make the final decision. Even before we do constitutional conferences democratically in any country, before you do a constitutional review, you must put it to the people. The people will now decide a yes or a no vote before the review, before you carry your review forward. But when only a handful of people want to make decisions for hundreds of millions of people, this is what you get. Everybody is only discussing one angle, one way of separating Nigeria, which will kill millions of us in the name of separating Nigeria. That's what they are pushing for, but there is another way. If we want to separate, let us debate in a referendum, not with gun or bloodshed as these ones are doing. Everybody is carrying a gun. A journalist is asking me when two brothers will fight. He did not ask me when these two brothers will come to the negotiation table to decide and strengthen themselves against their common enemy. Even if they want to pose their narrative on us, violence, I want to pose a question to the Yoruba people that none of these Yoruba nation leaders are asking them. If the Yoruba people want to leave Nigeria, it is not overnight. Anybody that tells you Yoruba can leave Nigeria over a 10-year period, that person is trying to put you in another long jump. Our problem needs like 50 years of dedication to see the front, not to fix, but to see how we can balance and then say that now we are moving forward. Wow. I mean, it's a very different view, but then again, well said and very much justified, really, to be honest. Nigeria is like a drunkard who is not balanced, staggering sideways. If it needs like 50 years to balance, but if the agitations turn to war, this will only add another 100 years of stress for us. We don't want that. Even if we want to separate, we don't want to separate in a way that our lives we want to separate in a way that our lives will get better. Yorubas are not even ready to be without Nigeria. Dear Yoruba people, how many refineries do you have when we separate from Nigeria? How do we get petrol to use? Will we have to buy fuel from Nigeria, pay some people a subsidy? How can one refinery cater for the whole of Oduduwa nation? Moreover, it doesn't belong to a Yoruba man. If we break away from Nigeria, the refinery will either be disassembled and taken elsewhere, or we will still be paying Nigeria for it. Yoruba nation must become self-sufficient before we start clamoring for independence. Absolutely. We must negotiate with our Igbo brothers because we need them for expertise. We must negotiate properly with our Hausa brothers because that is where all the pepper comes from. What will you do about the pepper, tomatoes, onions, and all? We must be self-sufficient, or at least the agitator should give us a strategy of our self-sufficiency as Yoruba people. You want to be an Oduduwa nation and still be begging for food, military aid, and educational aid? That's it. And being realistic, I think he hit the nail on the head, because the fact is, you can't just... It's not an anywhere beleface kind of situation. Again, you being a separate country with your own separate image, currency, connections... It's very much a long thing, and of course, he says even in the next 10 years, trying to achieve Oduduwa nation would be very unrealistic, and I can get that. There's a lot of things that need to be built so that because again, in this case of the refinery being owned by a non-Yoruba person, and saying, of course, if Nigeria to disintegrate, that refinery will still be owned by the non-Yoruba person, and of course, maybe Oduduwa people might have to start, paying for the refineries on how to use it. So yeah, I think we need to. There has been investment, and I think that a lot has been looted. To be honest, where do we start from? Again, we need to have a self-sufficiency plan where we build ourselves so much that we invest in the primary, secondary, tertiary sectors of goods and production of services and all that. Do all that. Make sure that our standard of living is amazing. Work together with Biafrans, as Seun Kuti highlighted, and of course that in a way, of course, will take much time. It's so summarized. Again, in theory, things mapped out as a model seems to work, but in reality, it doesn't. So yeah, if the Igbos and Yorubas can come together to achieve what they want to achieve, but then of course understanding that let's start from where we are first. Let's make ourselves self-sufficient, and then when we are able to break away, that at least we can last for the next 5 years, then maybe that's a way to be self-sufficient and depend, and really not even add extra cost or depending on any other person to basically help you build your country. That's just basically what it is. Yeah, so let's look at what the comment section is saying. So the first person here says, Baba has spoken, we are in open concentration camp. I remember when he said that really trended, but then again, it's like when you analyze how the country is being run, and how the people have been conditioned to think a certain way, someone says if they achieve it in the next 10 years, then it came faster than expected. Many people, or my people, have been chasing us even before our mother was born, and now I'm a full-grown man, we are still chasing it. I think, again, when we are ready, we are ready. To be honest, it's traumatizing. To be honest, I do not know, except you're going to ask the older generations why didn't they fight as much. That is their prerogative. But as for the youth, the current youth of Nigeria, we are not backing down, and change must happen by fire, by force, as some Nigerians will say. Somebody says, if you are bigger than God, your words will stand, but if God is bigger than you, you shall not test the good of our promised land, Oduduwa. I don't think he is. I just think he's being realistic. There's no need to get very defensive about it. That's just a fact. You have to plan to be self-sufficient, because there is no free lunch. And he also made a point where he says that on the underlying elements that exist beyond just the facial value of people agitating for separate countries, lies those criminals that have committed crimes against the state of Nigeria. And if Nigeria should separate, how it will be harder to hold them accountable, as the state Nigeria might not, well, at the time, if we separate, will not exist any longer. And what would happen is it will be harder to prove the atrocities committed against the people of the Nigerian state. That's it. Another perspective for you to think about. Put what you think about this in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.